Okay, now this is the last of the furniture pieces that I have to make proofs of. And for some of the pieces, there will need to be a third proof. For others, I can go on and create the final pieces, if that makes sense. Um, so in these, I have taken my notes. I have done a lot of thinking and moving stuff around. So you'll see some of these pieces are kind of marked up a little bit. So this was the original Doris Lyons Howard design for the little chest. Okay. And part of what I didn't like was this. I don't like this hinge. Um, and I really would like to use uh, uh, what I have learned, or the design. How do I put it? Because my designs are based off of her initial inspiration. For some of the more the childhood bedroom, I want to make a toy box. That's something similar to this, something that my brother and I had. Um, Anywho, this is the original. I went ahead and did an original because I want to do a compare and contrast. This was the next step up, which I think would look really cute as a little toy chest. And you can see here what I did was I eliminated that tab on back and I just have the hinges. This makes it a little, I mean, it opens and closes much better. But it's still not exactly where I want it. This one is the one that's the more decorated one that I like. And I did the same thing where I cut the hinges that you can kind of see through here a little bit. Yeah, you can see it better here. I took that inside tab out. So now this opens and closes so much better. It's sitting on top of a little bit better. But what I need to do is I need to change these hinges around. And I think what I'm going to do is they're going to be a strap hinge that gives me more space, more square footage to glue things down and secure them. So I'm going to be altering these in one way or another on both of these. Something I'm going to go look at some hardware and see what strikes my fancy. But yeah, this would be the one that's like in a bedroom for an adult, but this would be, or in a like an attic, and this is more childhood. So there's that. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump that. Let's move that over. I finished up the last Nandor Haunty piece, which is the chair, and I really like how it came out. I'm really into this pattern for some reason. I kind of know why I am, and I need to kind of figure out the rest of it. I like the changes that I made in here. I have a few things like this needs to be lengthened a little bit. That's not too hard. And while it was still wet, I was really kind of mad at this piece right here. I'm not mad at it anymore. Part of me kind of wants to take this chair back down a little bit, but I'm not sure. I think it'll throw the proportions off with the legs. So I'm going to leave it as it is now, right now. So this one, I can go ahead and go on to final version and make a few little changes like this. And that's pretty much it. And then I made notations of like when I'm gluing, this needs to be last. Everything else up here needs to be, like the glue needs to be dry, and then I glue this one, because you can see I glued it not quite tight enough and it's bowing, and I don't like that. I can also reinforce this underneath with a piece of cardboard, which if it happens, I can do that. I also went ahead and did the other Un Salon Moderne, and I've scribbled out some notations about how I would very much like to do a bolster. This one doesn't fit here. I'm going to do another couple of styles of bolsters. And I want to figure out how to, like, because you can see in this, there's the bolster. I love these bolsters with the big pillow on it. I want to figure out how to do something like that. Do you know what I mean? I want the pillow on top because I want it to be more three-dimensional. The quilt got a little bit better centered here. And I think in all, I like this positioning better, but I think I'm gonna widen these a little bit and make these, let me grab a pencil. This will be easier to show you with a pencil if I can find one, because I didn't put these notations on here. Something like that I think will work better. So this part's going to be cut out, but I want to make this a little bigger so it's still, you know, nice and chunky. And I'm going to make it a tiny bit shorter. So that's a pretty easy fix. This one I went through and I had to like do math, and it really hurt my brain. And I have to do Katie math, which is halfway just going with what I know looks right and feels right, and then the other half going, okay, I need to jack this percentage up a little bit. You can see this right here, this little line. I thought I had this matched correctly. That bottom line needs to hit there, and it's jacked up here too. It's too short. So I'm going to make some changes to this, including, I like the curve, but I think what I'm going to do is I might straighten these out. I'm not sure yet. I need to look at that. So this one may be getting another proof just to make sure. I've got plenty of other beds that work, so I'm not going to. This is from the Salon Moderne, and I wanted to see if I could make kind of a cabinety kind of, not quite a chifforobe, but a close approximation. I need to make a few changes for this door. Either the door needs to be smaller, or this part on the outside needs to be a little bit wider. And that's just a matter of making things a little wider, a little shorter. That's not a big deal. I'm pretty confident that I can go ahead and put this one together. And I also want to add a top to it, like a little piece that goes along the top, just for, you know, so it looks nice. Same thing here with the nightstand. I really just need to take out these just to make it, maybe even make them longer. Again, I'll have to figure that out once I get into the computer. Let's get rid of that. And then the desk. I do have another one of these cut out, and I want to work on it. Not cut out, another version that's a slightly larger one, I think, than this one, or maybe smaller. This worked out well. I attribute a lot of the shortage pieces here is due to the fact that this is super thick. But these triangle fold legs never fail. Whoever you are, 40s table designer, you've changed my life. I do think that I'm going to make this side a little shorter. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. And I may leave these the way they are. I also need to put a back piece on here. I don't like how that looks. There needs to be a back piece. This inside bit, it was just too thick. So you can see how it's kind of bulging a little bit. It'll all fit better when it's just a single piece. So I got that in there, and I like how it looks. But I really do think I need to try a version where this is just two separate things, two little separate boxes, and then this middle one is another box, and they're glued in line, and then this is put on top. I just think that's going to be a better idea. I think it will solve a lot of the problems that I'm having here, because this is yucky. It's gross. So, yeah. Another reason for wanting to change this front side, as you can see, it's really close. I mean, you'd have to have like super skinny legs. So I think I'm just going to move that up and make it a much skinnier drawer. Again, I made some more of these chairs just to see. And my solution is going to be the same solution I had for the 1940s anonymous chairs. I'll have this stuff printed, this bottom part printed, and these on the outside, the outside line will be printed, but this inside stuff isn't going to exist. There won't be any lines here anywhere. So when I cut it out, you won't really see any problem bits. And I made a couple of them because I'm trying to figure out the sequencing of how to put them together. And I think this one I goofed up on. I tried this one putting the back section together first and then the front section. And this one was front section to back section, because you can see this one is a bit crooked. And sometimes a lot of the times with this kind of paper furniture, all I need to do is hit this again. I can cut a piece of gray board, pop it in the bottom, and it straightens things out. It's enough tension and weight to hold it into the correct space. So speaking of which, I went through on this one, this little doll bed. I wanted to see, I think I'm going to change how this goes together. This is going to be a piece with 2 wings on it. And I'm going to have 2 flaps up with design that are folded in. And this end section gets glued on, like this whole section, including the bottom, gets glued in first, and then this goes right onto the end. And I think that'll work better. Because you can see here I have some weird kind of pulling and some tension in there that I don't like very much. And along with that, I'm going to do a different, I'm going to modify this so it looks more centered and it isn't all chopped up to go on the ends. And like I said, it kind of like the little cradle where I want to put some little designs on the inside as well. And then I was looking at this one and I decided to do a test. I haven't done it yet. And I wanted to show you what this looks like without that frontispiece in. And it's just like, oh, gross, ick, don't do that. And I was thinking too that I might do something similar to this, in that I remove the designs, but I'm not sure I want to do that either. I'm also going to test this one and use it as a test and cut this out and see what the structure will hold here. So that's pretty much it. I have got, I've got 4 pages of notations to go through, and I've even started going in and doing more on this. So, you know, the dressing table, I need to make this part skinnier. I need to move this over. For the 40s style bed, that one that I was just showing you, there's a weird, and I just went with it. It's a slightly, you can see it's just slightly in. And I think the reason that they did that is for easier folding, but I'm not sure I want to keep it. So there's also the possibility with this one, because part of the thing I liked about some of these pieces, especially this one and like this Nandor Hanti chair, there's something really attractive about taking a single piece. It's kind of like origami, and you fold it and you fold it, and then voila, you have a chair. That's really cool. But then sometimes, because I'm looking at this one, and I think I'm going to need to take some, because this is a 3-piece. These 2 pieces are on the end. This is a fold down, and then this is a single piece that goes on to the end. I like this construction because I can put a piece of cardboard between these and you really don't see it. This is another one of those beds that needs an insert into the underside. And I think I want to approach this bed in a similar way, and I think it will work better, and I think it will solve my math problems. So it's one of those things for me. Again, it's like, how much am I being influenced by, and how much, because sometimes it's like I'm looking at this, and one of the pianos that I did, one of the it's a Hans Christian Madsen piece, where his little box piano, a little like casement piano, I added these legs on it, and it makes it so much nicer and so much sturdier. I mean, I changed around how some things went together. I'm wondering, it's like, how much, when does it become mine? What are the percentages? I mean, this is mine. This one is a design that everything from the top up is my own creation. The legs on the bottom I took from the Anonymous 40s style. And kind of looking at Hans Christian Madsen as well for construction. At what point does it become mine? It's weird because there's a part of me that's really scared about showing these to people outside my Patreon, because I give attribution to everything. I call this the Doris Lyons Howard trunk, even though I have taken her initial design and really messed with it. I think the attribution part, I think this is hand in hand my graphic design training, in which you need to be completely above board about where you're getting stuff. And plagiarism is not, I really detest plagiarism. Going hand in hand with how I was taught as an art teacher, steal everything that's not nailed down, but always tell everyone where you got it. So when I would write my lesson plans, I would write in Seth painting lesson, Beth painting lesson, Mary Jean cat lesson, that sort of thing, because I knew exactly what it was, and I wanted to be reminded that even though I took those lessons and put my own spin on it, that they came from someone else. Does that make sense? Everything is a remix. So here I am with my pages of notes to go in and change things around, and thinking I got to start thinking about, like here I needed to remind myself that I think that my need, and it's because I think partially how it's presented, to put all of these pieces on one page, I think is limiting me when I'm copying them. So I need to, I've got my proportion wheel. I can do this. I need to start letting go of like putting, how much more can I cram on this one page? I think for getting the pieces done correctly, I'm going to have to, that's part of the money. That's part of me making the copies kind of thing. I've got to think more along that line. Do I want to save a couple of, $1.50, or do I want it to be right? So, at this point, I know that we're going to be having to head up that way for some other things. So I'm going to be sitting down today and focusing on the Nandor Haunty stuff to get that done, because I really want that to be the first one. Although for me, you guys know me, I'm pretty much going to probably end up following my own bliss and going, ooh, look at this, ooh, look at that, and doing something completely different. So thanks for sticking with me, patrons. I am going to take this terrible rainy day and crawl into my computer and start making some changes. And basically, I think the best way for me to do this is just start on notations for second round of furniture, go in and start with number 1 and just go down the list. Man, this is taking forever. It really is just taking forever, but I know I'm going to like it when it's all done. So, thanks, patrons, and I'll see you in the next video.